yourself. It seems forever that you've been guiding us through your personal journey with the game. How lucky we were that day in Brooklyn when the microphone passed into your hands. You were the chosen one, the skinny redhead who stood on the shoulders of the biggest kid, ready to look through the knot-hole of the fence and describe to the rest of us what was going on. You were better than a golden ticket. You invited us all to pull up a chair, spend the afternoon, and then proceeded to walk us into the next century. You did it in a style so friendly and unique, so effortless that years from now we will not be able to explain it to those who never heard it for themselves. The game will not lose its way, but it loses a perspective. A singular voice that managed to capture a boy's game, played by men at the highest level. You grounded it in a way no one else ever has, trusting that you never had to make more of any one moment than it really was. We couldn't be Kirk, and we couldn't be Sandy, but somehow you found a way to put us all in the batter's box, to put us all on the mound. Even those lucky enough to have a ticket to be at the game itself held radios to their heads as if they couldn't trust what they received. Some of my strongest memories of you were being in school, in the classroom, when the World Series still was being played during the day. Who can forget the teachers that we begged and then allowed us to stop over, huddle around a single scratchy transistor radio. They may have been simpler days, but they were also the best of days. And with everything on the line, it was your voice that slowed it down while we held our breath and filled in the blanks. And when we couldn't bear to watch, or could no longer sit in front of our TVs because the pressure was just too great, you were at our very best. When we were lost for words, you were Norman Rockwell, painting the clearest pictures, describing some of baseball's greatest moments as if they were nothing more than a million bedtime story. For 67 years, you managed to fool us into believing that you were just a sports announcer, when in fact you were really a poet, a wordsmith. It was a nice trip, and after almost 7 decades, you might have thought that we would have caught on. But now the masquerade is over, and the jig is over. We're all taking deep breaths, Vin. We're all struggling with our own emotions, as we admit that we're down to our last 3 outs. Thanks for always giving it to us straight, the inning and the score. Thanks for helping us to understand drama. Instead of being above the magic, you chose to marvel at it with us. It was through you, in a game that some call too slow, that we finally began to understand its charm. The slow drift, not a lazy river. Compliments are not easy to come by in baseball. They're not given lightly by the players. When they come, they're usually offered up in the simplest of words. Your name is spoken with reverence, afforded only the greatest of players. A universal respect and something confirmed by quiet nods. The players would call you a game. This guy who knows the start. The 9-inning pitcher who always kept you in the game, the guy who always gave you a chance to win. And if you never played the game, you might think it should be more to describe that kind of greatness. But in this game, it's all you need to know about a man. And if anyone ever wondered what it might feel like to have Vin Scully call your name, I can tell you for sure that it must be something close to hell. I wasn't a player, but in You're our George Bailey. It has been a wonderful life.
Yeah, we're over here.
You did the work. You reached the top of your profession playing fair, never taking advantage. So we promise we won't be sad for you. How could we be? We're only sad for ourselves because we would all like to retire someday too. But don't blame us. Don't blame us for wanting to push the sun back up into the sky one more time. We're asking God to give us extra energy and dodge a minute. You can't blame us for trying to hold on to it as long as we can. And you can't stop us from saying that we love you. To live your life, man. And shame on us if you ever have to pay for another meal in public. So let's all stand as we just say goodbye to this man. Trust that the list of the greatest baseball announcers in this century will last, and they're finally drawn up. The debate about who sits at the top heats up, as it no doubt will. That we won't engage, and we won't disparage any colleague you might have admired. We will simply smile and acknowledge that if your name is not on it, then it isn't a list at all. You leave us in the game, Mr. Scully, but not without leaving a lasting impression, and not without taking a piece of our broken baseball heart.